If you look at the fur trade, many scholars would argue that we actually controlled the fur trade for a very long periods of time, that we had complete agency in the trade. So when you say entrepreneurship, it's not something that's new for Indigenous people. It is something that we're, I think, rediscovering that that's part of our past, and that's something that we need to be proud of. And so now, to create a greater independence and interdependence, we have to kind of go back to the old tools we had, which are entrepreneurial tools, I would argue, and really embrace that. And it'll give us more opportunities for the future. I see a lot of young people in Manitoba. They want to be a part of the broader community, the broader business community. I see more and more young people getting interested in the startup community and going into get their Bachelor of Commerce degree or their MBA, kind of exploring that path. And I don't think we've quite yet figured out how to give them the supports that they need. And I think we have to figure out ways to let them know that this is, if you're talking about treaty and Indigenous identity, this is actually one of the ways where they can have a huge impact. I think years ago, people would have said, you know, you go do a BCom, you're going to be a sellout. Now it's like, okay, here's a vehicle that you can use to have huge impact in your community. I've had a lot of opportunities kind of thrown at me in my life. So I served in the US military, served in the Canadian military. I worked as an educator, as an education director. I've had kind of leadership opportunities thrown at me up. I've always accepted the challenge of leadership opportunities, even though 99.9% of the time I felt like imposter syndrome, like, man, I shouldn't be here. You're going to find out. Confronting that fear and getting past that fear. I heard someone talk about it just recently as the one thing that lies between you right now and your goals is fear. Confronting that and saying, you know I'm going to be super out of my comfort zone, but I have to do it if I want to achieve my goal, whatever that is. I think that's probably the best advice I could ever give. And one thing I would tell my younger self would be to just know that that's normal. That after a while, you start to get used to it. It's like, okay, I felt imposter syndrome before, now I'm going to feel it again, or I've been super uncomfortable before. Get over it, get used to it, and kind of that's a signal that you're on the right track almost.